Ask yourself what a college or university is, and obvious conclusions come to mind. A school, some buildings like a library, sport venues like a swimming pool, an employer. True, all those descriptions fit, but this place and others like it, this school, it's not just classrooms, dormitories such as Pensole, school colors. They're not the buildings or the facilities themselves. They're not the paychecks those employed here earn. Pared down, a school such as this simply becomes the humans that occupy it year to year. Fairmont State is the ever-changing group of folks who at any given moment walk these very halls. Those who guide and teach. Those who study and learn. Those who live and work here. Those who perform and compete to their highest abilities here. Those that partake in the noblest of personal endeavors here, attempting to better oneself. If we believe all of what I've just said to be true, then in the late 1980s and early 1990s, I was Fairmont State. So much about this life, my life, your life, all of our lives, is about the choices we make and how each individual decision is just as capable as the next of steering, molding, and ultimately becoming your life record, all the while becoming a tiny but still important sliver in the history of all mankind. Experience allows us to understand that whatever we choose to engage ourselves in during the present inevitably becomes our future. Those choices transform themselves into the very essence of who we are, and that essence reflects through our words and actions directly into the hearts and minds of those that we love, surround ourselves with day to day. The minute by minute, large and small decisions we make, those choices, they become the roots, branches, and leaves of our personalities, the main engines of our experiences. And ultimately, as the years add up, those uncountable number of choices we've made, they become our dearly held memories. Once upon a time, I chose to follow my brother onto the swim team. I chose 2-hour practices 6 days a week for over a decade. I chose to learn, to try to grow, and to get stronger. I chose to find a way to accept failure in search of victory. I chose to become a distance swimmer, a miler. I chose to become a serious championship swimmer other swimmers would have to contend with if they wanted to win. I chose to come study, to train, and to compete here at Fairmont State. Those specific choices, each one and their reverberations, have cultivated my life brick by brick, layer by layer. Each chiseling and sculpting a recognizable and useful form from a bewildered, often misguided and weak-featured block of granite. The choice to come and study here at Fairmont State laid a foundation for me. A foundation I still stand on. A foundation I'm standing on right now. Now, I'm not the biggest, strongest, or smartest former athlete here to reside in the Hall of Fame. In no way, shape, or form have I ever been the fastest swimmer to dive in the pool here. Not for 1 second was I ever the most organized or anything close to resembling a top-ranked student athlete. I am, however, a person of immense fortitude who trusts himself and is always ready to roll up his sleeves for something he believes in. One willing to take flight in directions or at times that others wouldn't dare. A person who understands the fragile, insatiable nature of a difficult quest, and one who's still willing to test the very limits of his own abilities, win, lose, or draw. However others may perceive me, I see myself as a person you'd be grateful to find next to you in a foxhole, should while in close proximity to one another, a foxhole ever be required. I'm a person always willing to ask what's next and how do we get there. A man capable of climbing any proverbial mountain he believes worthy of climbing, especially if it holds something at its peak that he covets. I'm acutely aware of the precious miracle of my own existence, cognizant of its luscious joys and its heinous sorrows, and how closely they're associated with life's often repeatable failures, as well as its hard-to-achieve successes. Success, I've learned through palpable experience, is only reachable by those willing to believe in and trust the mission, and by those with the moxie to endure the rigorous nature of that path. Victory over a challenge or in competition is achieved by those willing to steer dynamically, with a fluid perspective and grand effort to overcome the challenges this wonderfully interesting life can bring. However I see myself, or however you may perceive me, be it from past experience or just from our interaction here tonight, I'm an amalgamation of many layered, angled patterns and worn fabrics that's grown into a fastidiously woven quilt, a living, breathing patchwork of hope, love, memories, and dreams. A content individual, a present father and grandfather, a man reflective of yesterday, quite grateful for today, and eager for yet another tomorrow. Most importantly, on this occasion, I'm an adult that owes his initial foray into adulthood to Fairmont State University. The college on the hill is both the ladder and the springboard, both valuable, intertwined resources that anyone with grit and determination can parlay into a comfortable future of their own design. I'd be remiss not to thank my mother Dorothy Chance and my late father Gregory Chance for their support and encouragement, my siblings Doug and Laura for paving the way or walking and even swimming it with me at elemental times in life, my sons Julian and Maxwell, and my grandson Arthur Chance for being the most important boats in my harbor. Of course, I thank the many swim coaches I've had, including, but not limited to, Ed and Alice Kropp, Walter Donahue, Ray Donofo, Steve Levine, Dave Alexander, Jerry Troglio, Chuck Fee, and Ed Denny. And most importantly, my main coach here at Fairmont State, also swim team alumni, also a multi-time All-American and former team record holder, Mr. John Simone. If you know John, he's undoubtedly one of a kind. I'm honored he chose to be here at Fairmont State with me tonight. These some 30 years later. This recognition is easy to share with John, because without his intense leadership, I certainly wouldn't have swam as fast as I did here, or won as much as I did here at Fairmont. John, then just a young man himself, taught me in no uncertain terms what being mentally tough and applying focus to the mission could ultimately yield. He showed me what I was capable of, what I was actually really capable of. And we were absolutely a force to be reckoned with, even when we swam up at WVU, a then Big East school I happen to have stolen a few wins from over the years. Regarding my coach, I've never forgotten this. Every year in the late fall, John would have me and only me swim 1,000 yards 10 times in a row on a descending interval. In layman's terms, that's 400 laps, just about 3.5 miles, all by my lonesome. Think Castaway meets Chariots of Fire. Now this over-the-top set came with just 10 breaks of 90 to 15 seconds and fully clocked in at just a shade over 2 hours to complete. So freshman year, all ready to prove myself, I demolished this puppy in record time. The next year, fall arrives. I come into practice finding this ungodly set posted for the day. This time around, boy, do I know it's coming. And it hits me like a ton of bricks. All of a sudden, I feel as if I weigh 400 pounds. I haven't even dipped a toe in for warm-up yet. So I get deep in the middle of the third of these 1,000-yard swims, the 10 in the set, and I'm on fire. My very soul's become a raging inferno. This set, I've decided, was absolutely inhumane, and I wasn't having another chlorinated second of it. I decide I'm done. I climb out of the pool. I bark a few untamed phrases, I get dressed, and I leave. The next day, wouldn't you know it, I saunter into the Feaster Center pool only to find that black hole of a set posted with a note. Just for me, it read, he's doing these types of things. He's swimming these kinds of practices. And no, you have to start at the beginning. The he was a Swede named Tomas Eriksson, the reigning national champion in my events. The no was, no, I could in no way start where I'd left off yesterday, and the message is one quite tried and quite true. There simply are no shortcuts to the peak. I'd like to thank as well all the teammates I've had in the pool over the years, including fellow Fairmont teammates Andy Peden and Jeff Barger, both here tonight. Charlie Mann, Jeremy Pecora, Clarksburg's own Lake Floyd alumni, Paul and Martin Howell. Martin gracious enough to nominate me for the Hall of Fame tonight. Rick Rydell, Otto Braniff, Lou Horvath, the former Terry Shaughnessy, J.C. Panetta, Paul Altavilla, and Mark Dannon. Thanks also to former Fairmont swimmer and coach Pat Snively for keeping my name in the mix till I was ultimately selected. I'm grateful and honored to be inducted. And I offer sincere congratulations to all the other inductees cementing their collegiate sports legacy alongside me tonight. Thank you for coming and for the recognition of my time as a swimmer here at Fairmont State. Enjoy the rest of the evening, please, and get home safe.